Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, empowers, and educates you. We talk about the art of intentional living, and today we're going to talk about a really interesting topic with an expert. Her name is Judy Ben Asher, and the name of our show this week is How to Cope with Identity Level Trauma after your DNA test. So, this is more common than people realize. But can you imagine going to get your DNA test because you're just curious? You're curious about your genetics, your heritage, all of that. And then you find out that the parent that you thought was your parent isn't your parent. And then imagine the trauma that comes along with that. Well, Judy's going to talk all about that because she knows firsthand and how that experience, along with so many stories in her life, led her down the path to who she is today. And she's multi-talented. I'm going to read her bio when she comes on. You are going to want to tune in. So before we go any further with the show, let me tell you, we are live every Monday at 11:03 a.m. Pacific time on the E360 TV network. And we simultaneously stream on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. Both of those are called I Have Today with Diane Forster. If you have questions or comments, the place to view us live and interact and engage with us would be on Facebook. So again, go to my business page, I Have Today with Diane Forster. Make sure to give me a follow there, and then you can tune in. Now, if you or anyone you know has experienced this, you're going to want to tap them, send them a text, ping them, DM them, whatever you need to do so that they can listen to this conversation, because the work that Judy is doing is phenomenal, related to helping people, heal and recover from this, among the many other things that she's doing. But you're going to want to hear her story. Now, let me tell you where you can access our show. First of all, again, we're on E360 TV, and then we stream live there, as well as YouTube and Facebook, like I just said. But you can catch the replays on Apple, on Roku, on Amazon Fire, on Android, and then, of course, on those platforms as well. I've got a channel on E360 TV. You can see it. It's, I Have Today. There are hundreds of episodes there. They're also available on YouTube as well. So they're all there. And we talk about a variety of topics related to intentional living, mindset, law of attraction, manifestation, and anything related to helping you live to your highest, greatest, fullest potential. We always bring on amazing guests who've gone through their own transitions and transformations in their lives, and they come on here to tell their story and what they learned along the way, so you get the benefit of it. And when I do solo shows, it's always about something in your life that you can take instant, actionable action on, and literally do something wherever you are. Now, the circumstances in your life need to change in order for you to start living better, happier, more fulfilled. And so you might also prefer to listen to podcasts. So I Have Today with Diane Forster is available on all the podcast platforms as well. So there's a lot out there for you, and a lot of ways that you can binge this content, which is only here to help and support you in your life. And so I want you to stay till the very end, because one of the things that I do on my show is I end every episode with a powerful mantra meditation, and it's live and it's unscripted. I take it based on what the guest has shared that day, and how we live here at I Have Today, the I Have Today way, and give you exactly the message that you need to hear so that you can leave this experience feeling better at the end of it than you did at the beginning of it. So it really integrates. That's what we're all about. We don't want to be shelf help for you. We want to be your life support, and your source for motivation and inspiration. And we want you to be able to recap and remember these things the moments that you need them. So stay till the very end, because we have lots of exciting things to do. Now, one of the things that we do on this show every single week is we create intention statements. So what is an intention statement? It's basically an affirmation. And what I want you to do is listen to this right now And then I want you to take the screenshot of the beautiful graphic that we make. I'll tell you where to find that in a moment, and put that as your screensaver for the week, so that what the message that we're sharing with you today will last with you the entire week. And how we make changes in our life, true, lasting, positive, permanent change, is we repeat to remember. Our mind needs the repetition in order to create those new habits. And then once we start developing those new habits and we go, oh, that's right, the intention statement starts to become a part of your vocabulary, a part of your story, a part of your reality. So it's super intentional. Yes, I'm doing air quotes for those of you on the podcast that can't see me, but that's how it works. And so I know Judy is all about manifestation too, and she loves mindset too. So we're going to get deep into those conversations as well. But let me first share with you the intention statement for this week. It is, I have today to embrace my identity no matter what. I have today to embrace my identity no matter what. So this is for you out there, not only if you've had this DNA surprise thing happen to you, this is for you, whomever you are, because I want you to know that whoever you were in the past, and I'm talking about your past as recent as an hour ago, and certainly yesterday, and any time in the past, that does not have to be who you are right now today. Who you are going forward in this moment and who you want to become is entirely up to you. So embrace your identity no matter what. Everything that you've ever been through in your entire life has been there for you, even if you didn't realize it at the time. It's made you learn so much. It gave you wisdom. It gave you clarity. It gave you strength. It gave you resilience. It gave you tenacity. It's so many gifts with it. But embrace who you are right now, because you are this unique, multifaceted diamond. No two people in the world are the same. There's only one you that's uniquely you. So embrace your identity, because people love you just as you are. So what we do with these intention statements is, if you go to my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official, that's where you can find me on all social media, by the way, Diane Forster Official. When you go to my page, you're going to see those little round buttons. The first button says wallpapers. So if you click on the wallpapers, this graphic is already here, but you can see them here, and you can just tap and scroll, screenshot it, and then save it as your screensaver, so that every time you look at your phone, you are reminded that you have today to embrace your identity no matter what. You have today to embrace your identity no matter what. And it's really going to help you start loving yourself just as you are. So that's where you can find that there. All right. So quickly, before we bring on Judy and I tell you all about her, I just want to share one more thing with you guys. You know, we have a lot of changes going on here at I Have Today. A lot of great, exciting things are happening here. One of them is we are going to do a live event. And I can't believe I just said it out loud. That means it has to happen, right? Because I said no live events in 2022. And guess what? The universe said, nope, Diane, you're going to do a live event. So we are going to do a TV Star Academy Live on November 11th. And we are going to do that in Los Angeles. It is an in-person event. We will have information coming out about that. We don't even have the registration page up. I just wanted to make you guys aware of it. So mark your calendar for 11/11. And if you're not from the Southern California area, plan on making a trip to come to this event, because this is going to be a one-day event. It's going to be very intimate. We're going to keep it to a maximum of 70 people. We'll probably keep it around 50 people, but I am going to have celebrities there and experts there. If you've thought about hosting your own TV show, this is a must-attend event. Now, I just did an event a couple of weeks ago. It was a virtual event called TV Star Intensive. And a lot of you wanted to come, but you had a conflict and you couldn't make it. And you said, when are you going to do another one? Are you going to do another one? Guess what? I'm doing another one, but I'm doing it live. So the only way you're going to be able to attend it is by showing up for it. So if you're interested in finding out more information and you are not on my email list, I want you to send me an email, send my team an email at info@Diane Forster. And hey, Cherry, can you throw up a banner for that quickly? Info@Diane Forster, and just write event in the subject line, and then just say, I'm interested. So we know, so we'll keep you in the loop on all the details of that coming up. So that's fresh, hot off the press, what's going on. All right. So info@DianeForster.com. All right. So, all right. So before I bring on Judy, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor and let's bring her on. Just take a listen to this. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Hello, Judy Ben Asher. All right, team, can you unmute her? There we go. Hey.
Hello.
I'm so excited to see you, beautiful friend.
I'm so excited to be here. And I just want to recognize you for all the great work you're doing in the world. I love this. I love every aspect. And the intro was so beautiful and intentional and so important. There was so much just in that first 10 minutes that I'm going to rewatch.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Well, that means a lot coming from you, the seasoned expert that you are. I so appreciate that. All right. Well, let's not have the audience wait another moment longer because I want to introduce you to our audience and see, let them fall in love with you like I've fallen in love with you. So Judy Ben Asher has worked in film and television for 25 years as an actor, voiceover artist, and director. Judy's certified in NLP, transformational coaching, 5 elements theory, and integrative nutrition. While working on a documentary about healing, Judy discovered she is not related to the father she had known and is a caretaker of. As a result, she experienced what's called identity level trauma and has made it her mission to help others navigate with more ease, calm, and simplicity the crazy ripple effect this discovery can have. Consequently, Judy now works with people who have gone through or are going through a DNA discovery so they can manage the ripple effect of finding out they are not who they think they are. Judy Ben Asher has an upcoming podcast, Truth Seeker, can't wait to hear about that, DNA Discovery podcast, alongside her partner, the 17th Surgeon General of the United States of America, Dr. Richard Carmona. Wow, Judy, so powerful. Okay, well, I know, I want to know, tell me a little bit of the backstory of this,
Well, so for those of us who've been through it, right? Some people can compartmentalize and go on with their day. Some of us don't do it that way. There's no right way to go about it. For me, and we've all got a story, right? So I feel like identity level trauma, and those are my words, identity level trauma can strike
you. Trademark that.
I did.
Yeah.
We did for our show, but it's there are so many different ways people can have identity level trauma that we'll be branching out into all of them as best we can. So just wanted to mention that. But I was doing this documentary, Truth Seeker, when my mom got ovarian cancer, and her and I were very, very close. And she was that phone call every day, or at least twice a week. We just always were in each other's lives, and it was a beautiful relationship. And when she got sick, it really struck me that when someone's got cancer in your family, you have to dig in and learn so much so fast, and you don't always understand what's happening. And it's like a freight train, and you just are a bystander. So I was trying to empower people with knowledge. And one of the things my husband and I both did is a DNA test to do our health history. And I've known my husband, Dan, since 5th grade. So he and I feel like we've known each other so well. He's known my parents since we were 10, so um this was a really big discovery, not just for me, for him, and it does affect everyone that you know. And I always felt like I didn't belong necessarily, and and my family and I are very close. We're all in each other's lives. We all know everything about each other. Big Jewish family,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people can relate to that. We're just really different. We think differently. We look very different, but there's a lot of love there. Um, and so this was shocking to everybody, but I've always felt outside because my oldest beautiful sister has red hair and blue eyes. And I have a sister that passed away and she was blonde, blue eyed. And my brother has brown hair and blue eyes. And I have black hair and green eyes. And we just don't look anything alike.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
and so the joke in the family my whole life was, "Oh, you're the milkman, or you're the postman," or and it was like a funny thing. And my parents had a story around my conception. A rainy day at a lazy ranch, outside of Arizona, and it was raining, so you know, and there was this whole story around it. And what I know now is those are things to notice, right?
Yes.
Is there a story around your birth that's not around everyone around you, right? Because I have all these
Mm.
siblings, and there was no story around their birth, but there was this story around mine, and it was told a lot. And so it's just an interesting thing to take note of. And being on the other side of it now, I see all these breadcrumbs that I just didn't
Of course.
I didn't wanna see. But so, yeah, so I felt very outside myself growing up. I was never comfortable. I was always very awkward. I still am. I feel very awkward with people. It's just sort of my nature, but I love to learn and I love to share, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I took a DNA test. I found out my dad wasn't my dad. And my father, who raised me, was a physician for 51 years. So, when you're patient zero, what I call patient zero is the person who took the test is protected by HIPAA, right? So
Right.
you never have to tell anybody, but if you do, it's a choice. And that's also what I want to help people with is choosing what's best for them and what makes sense for them, and then how to do it in a much better way than I did, because I took a nosedive into nachos and Reese's Pieces. And that was sort of my way of handling.
Coping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't use my own skill set, and I have certifications in health and healing, and I had just done a film about healing, and I ignored everything, and I just, you know, gooey cheese,
Yeah.
warm food, gooey cheese, and that's how I try to put myself back together, and it's not that effective. So I can tell you
Yes.
it doesn't work. So we really want to, I came together with Dr. Carmona, and we really want to be a support for other people going through it, because
Now
every
how
situation is
yeah,
so,
now how did the 2 of you connect?
oh, um, sorry, it is warm where I am today. So
Yes.
yes, my glasses are steamy, which is fun. Um, we're live, that's what happens. But
You're just so hot, Judy.
I love you, Diane. I so this is another weird story, and he calls it Bashert, which is weird on a lot of levels, but I'll explain. So Dr. Carmona was a paratrooper in Vietnam, and then he was in SWAT, and then he started to do air rescue. And he was doing air rescue in Tucson, Arizona, where I'm from. And he trained my sister Sue how to be a medevac nurse. And they had a really lovely bond, and she had so much respect for him and admiration. And then he worked also side by side with my dad, who was a physician at the same hospital. So he's known my family so long, more than
Wow.
30, 40 years, right? He's known my whole family. And my brother was one of his kids' principals. So it's amazing how my whole family knew him 30 years or more before I did. But so in 2000, no, sorry, in 1992, my sister's helicopter crashed, and he went and got on her helicopter, an air rescue, to go get her and find her. They were on sacred burial ground, so it was a very interesting air rescue. Um, and so he had to dangle out of the helicopter 100 feet to be able to go and get her and bring her home. And she had passed. And many years later, he was brought into the White House to be Surgeon General. And they showed this video of the air rescue. And that's so surreal, right? It was on CNN and all these things. It was the weirdest thing. But so I met him because of that, and had not been in touch with him, just knew how much he respected and adored my family and my sister. And when these things were going on, I was like, I need a genealogist. I don't understand all this. So I'm going to try and find him. And I sent an email to someone with his name. I had no idea what his real email would be. And he wrote back, and he got on the phone with me and was just so fascinated by all of this, partly because he knows my family, and in part because it's a beautiful journey, and such a tough journey. He wanted to be of service. So he calls the whole thing beshert, and beshert is a Yiddish word that means meant to be. And he is not Jewish. I am. So for him to be calling it beshert was a really strange and fun thing,
Yeah.
So her death was beshert, and the rescue was beshert, and the way we met was beshert. The whole thing is, and the way I found out about my dad is beshert. So
Yes. My goodness, there's so many places I want to go with this. I mean, totally. You were so meant to meet. And of course it was going to happen. And look at how the pieces came together for the way you were supposed to meet him in this scenario, in this way, to be doing this work. So powerful. All right. So where I want to go first is, you've had a lot of loss in your life too.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
we all do, right? We all
Right.
go through things, but my oldest brother, who I never met, he passed from crib death, and so he was my parents' first child. And then my sister was killed when she was 26 in the helicopter crash. And so it was an interesting upbringing with parents who have gone through these things. Raising their kids after their first passed was a really specific way of leading with service. My parents were very dedicated in service, and I think that's got a lot to do with why I ended up the way I did.
Yeah.
And then I lost my mom to ovarian cancer. And then I found my biological dad, but he has already passed as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So my the father who raised me is 91, and he's still with us. But so my mom and dad and my brother and sister have all passed.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, we all do go through our stuff, but that's a lot. And I'm so, I want to talk about Truth Seekers. I want to talk about your podcast. I want to talk about how you're using your life in service. And I also want to talk about your acting career. But let's talk about Truth Seekers first. Let's go there.
Truth Seeker is just sort of, it was a nickname friends gave me. And then it sort of became my branding, because I am so curious, like so many of us, right? We Google everything. And so I get into this habit of, like, if I want to know something on a topic, I'll Google it, and then I'll read all about it. And then I'll kind of get a certification in it, because I just want to understand how it works so that I can learn and share. And learning and sharing is just something I feel like it's almost like a pinch, it's like you have to do it. And so I don't feel like there's any other path for me. I feel like it's what I'm meant to do, and as a conduit of information, and I don't know everything, right? I am flawed. I am imperfect, but I'm working on myself. And as I do that, I also want to share that. So I also share my healing journey, and I get so nerded out on healing and self-care. And I'm so proud of that because I want to understand it and I want everyone to understand it as best we can and also learn from other people. So the podcast is happening so that we can share all this stuff. And I want to know, more about DNA and I know quite a bit, but I don't know everything. I don't know that I'll ever know everything. But, my dad who passed had breast cancer. I
Oh,
didn't even know a
wow.
man could have breast cancer, right?
Yep. Mhm.
That's a good risk factor to know about, right? And be aware of, to live a
Yeah.
little bit differently so that you can stay healthy and I can stay healthy. And he also had diabetes. And these are good and important things to know. And so just for that, I'm so grateful, right? I'm so grateful that I know and have this information. But so we're going to have DNA experts come on and talk about what it means to be genetically predisposed. What does it mean? How will markers show up for you? What do you need to look at? What is really irrelevant because your lifestyle is so different? So it's learning about telomeres and genomes and all those fun things. But also, we're going to hear a lot of stories from a lot of people. There's 26 million. That happened on the year that I went through it. 26 million people, according to MIT Tech, took a DNA test for other reasons and found out they weren't related to one or both parents. So
Right.
we believe that that number has more than doubled globally now. It's a lot of people finding this out, and we're trying to create a healing community. So we've got, not a support group, but a supportive group for anybody who's gone through it, and it's free, and there's no selling in there. It's just for people to be and be surrounded by people who've gone through it, because the judgment is very harsh around patient zero. Patient zero finds out and then say, "You're my sister, and I have to tell you," and that is going to change your perception of your parents' marriage, right?
Yeah.
Your
Oh, yeah.
parents' relationship and the way your parents have trained you to believe that they are. And again, it's a choice and it's an idea of a relationship. We can't know what happens with other people's relationships, right? But we have an idea, and that's sort of the story we've been sticking to, right? For better or worse, whether it's true or not, and that's no one's fault, right?
Right.
And so it's a really big journey to go on, um and we're just happy to be present with people. So
And it's so beautiful that you're creating this space of this supportive community. I knew you'd know the numbers, and I knew the numbers were big. And when we promoted this show, I said that I guarantee you the number is so much bigger because it happens.
right.
I personally, not in my immediate family or in my world, but just outer layers, have heard of so many people this has happened to.
Yeah.
And
And and it's so common, and those people made a choice, right? They were just doing the best they knew how to do with the tools that they had. So I'm coming from a judgment-free perspective. That doesn't mean that other people have to, right? We have a lot of judgment coming in with this information because it is a shock to the system, and it's sort of like the steps in grief, right? It's such a
yes,
massive loss of your identity and who you were yesterday. And the people around us will never understand, and it's no fault of their own, but they'll never understand how identity is such a big, precious thing. And knowing who you are when you wake up is such a big deal. And when you find out your results, you may also find out you're not who you think you are, and then you don't know who you're related to, right? So there's a lot of steps in this journey of hunting that down and finding out information. And it starts with such a upheaval, right?
yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm going to say with 100% certainty that my parents are my parents because when I was growing up, I looked exactly like my dad, and now I
Well,
look
then, yeah,
exactly like my mother. Although,
that's so nice. I don't look
yeah,
like anybody.
yeah,
Well,
but
that's
not
not true.
so.
I look like my biological dad, and
Of
I
course.
found out I have 3 siblings, and I look like them.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
wild to look at
Yeah.
someone's eyes and recognize your eyes in them and their ears. Um, it's amazing. It's like the best feeling in the world to look like somebody.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a gift
Yeah.
to them.
Well,
Yeah.
that is definitely the gift in it, right? So,
Yes.
all right, one more question about this because I have so much more I want to talk to you about. But when you found out, was your mom was still alive?
Yes.
Yes.
No, sorry. No. My mom passed in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
so I
never got
found
to
out
have a cover.
2019.
Oh, okay. You found out in 2019.
Yeah, so
What
we've
is
had
this?
no conversations about it. I'll never know, what
This,
happened, and
yeah.
that's part of the upheaval,
Trauma.
that yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's what I was curious about. I thought, I'm so glad you clarified that because I thought maybe it was that you found out about her cancer and then that's why you went to get the test. But that makes
I
sense.
did. I took the test in January of 2017. After my
Yeah.
mom's passing, I was still working, plugging away on the documentary and
Yeah.
found that you could do the 23andMe health history, and there was no one on my dad's side and only 2 cousins that I knew on my mom's side, so I just moved on
Yeah.
because my purpose wasn't looking at my ancestry, it was looking at my health history.
Right.
So that wasn't, I didn't really dig in, and I called cousins and said, "Hey, have you done this thing?" And they all said no. So, and if you don't do either Ancestry or 23andMe, and there's so many companies doing it now, but
Right.
if you don't do their particular DNA test, you can't match with family that hasn't done their DNA test. You only connect with people you're related to within that group.
Within there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look at it. I didn't know until I was on a road trip with my husband. We just needed a break and we went to Wyoming, and on our trip he took me through this little town, and again, I've known Dan since I was 10, and he went to this little high school in Cheyenne, Wyoming for a minute for a year of his life, and I remembered family friends who lived there, and I knew them until I was 8, and then they had moved away, so we started talking about this family, the Arnoffs, and it was like, "Oh my gosh, I love these people. If my family wasn't my family, I would love to be related to them because they are just amazing, and they're so beautiful and so kind, and, Mr. Arnoff makes me feel so loved, and such a great family." And then we moved on and we went to Buffalo, Wyoming, which was our destination, and I kinda lost my husband to his iPad for the rest of the trip, and,
Right.
um, and he was on my iPad, so 23andMe popped up with a new match, a new family member, which happens a lot, and this person was an Arnoff, and, so he had just heard that name, so he was very curious, so he sent an email back, and then we started to connect, and, so those were the dots that started on that day,
Wow.
and that was 2019, so it was a long time after.
Wow. Wow. Okay, well, you have a 25-year career in as an actor and voiceover artist. You're working on some big projects. You recently did a project with Oprah. Can you talk about some of the things that you're working on and the things that you can talk about? Can you share a little bit about
Yeah.
your
Well,
background? Yeah.
the Oprah interview, just aired, I think 2, 3 weeks ago, and it was part of her Oprah's Daily class, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful community to be a part of, and every month they invite 9 people on, for her to discuss whatever the topic is. So they invited me to discuss the topic of forgiveness, because they appreciated the fact that I had to work on that with my mom, who isn't here. And so
Mm,
that was a really beautiful conversation. And she's just been a part of the fabric in my life. And I feel like such a commercial saying that, but it's just my reality. I love her and I feel like I know her, and now I do, but I
yeah.
didn't before, but I feel like, growing up with her as this public figure, um, you just feel so close. And 2 days before we did this, or a few days before this, her father passed. And
Yes.
Um, and so she was in Mississippi and in an Airbnb. So there were technical problems. And I'm so grateful for my film background because it was so helpful on the day. Because it's a scripted show. It's, our conversations are not scripted, but there's time set so that everybody has their opportunity to speak. And I wanted to be conscious of that, but we were running very late to start.
Yeah.
And she had just been through a very emotional day coming from the mortuary. And I just was like, me don't cry and don't make her cry. That was
Yeah.
like my only thing. And
Yeah.
we had a really beautiful conversation that started talking about, being in the room with our parents that had passed. And so it was a really, really nice conversation. It was really beautiful and warm. And she was really worried and concerned about my journey because she had a DNA discovery herself. She has two sisters named Patricia. And the first one was given up for adoption because her mom just wasn't in that place to be a mom at that time. And Patricia found Oprah through a DNA test. And I guess Oprah had talked about it before, but I had not heard that. So that was kind of news to me. And it was a really lovely conversation about the way Patricia navigated or didn't navigate, because she didn't have any support except Oprah, and Oprah was lovely with her, but it's
Yes.
a personal journey, which is why I'm so grateful I have this private group. It's free. Again, you're welcome to join anybody, but, I'm so grateful for other people who've gone through this too. So,
Mm.
and then the film and television stuff started. I started in 94
Okay.
and I studied at a place called Playhouse West, and that's a conservatory in Los Angeles, in North Hollywood area. And I was there for about 11 years, from 1995 to 2005. And it's interesting when you're in a theater group because you kind of bleed with everybody. And there was a lot of people that are now celebrities or worked a lot or not, that were in my small class of like 20. And it was just a really amazing thing. And during that time, I started doing voiceover for animation, and I started guesting as, sometimes as a mollusk or a coconut or, an Autobot or whatever it was for the day, which was so fun. But I also voice match. So people would, call me and say, so and so can't show up for work today. Can you do their voice? And I would go in and I would play someone else's character. And
Wow.
that was so fun. So
So fun.
yeah. So it was like the healthiest I've ever been in my life because I'm getting out every possible feeling I've ever had. It was like the best therapy ever. It was so fun. But my first film, I did a film called Lost Highway, with David Lynch, and then I did a film with Milos Forman, and I've been very, very blessed with the directors that I've watched. I've also been cut a lot
Yeah.
from a lot of things, but I just was so happy to be there. I don't care. It's you go and you do the work and then you move on. So not showing up in the final product doesn't bother me at all. I was there on the day. It was so much fun and I learned so much and I met amazing people. And so I love it, and David Lynch was just being on his set was like a master class. And
Yeah.
same with Milos. Just heavenly. I also was directed by Warren Beatty, and he also was a master class. And um, it's just watching them work. Watching how they interact with their staff, watching how they run their set, watching how they run their day. If you're an actor, you know that you can go into golden hour, which is an 18-hour day. Which some people want because you make double, and some people don't want because it's an 18-hour day,
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was really fascinating.
Such an eclectic background you have. So amazing, Judy. It's totally amazing. Now, you're very into learning, and I know you're into manifestation. You and I have a lot of alignment in this
Yes,
area.
I love it.
Um, Yeah, I mean, you've manifested a lot in your life. What's been, and you're good at connecting the dots. Me too. Like you can go back and then once you had that experience, you all of a sudden you could see, once you had
Yeah.
that surprise, you could see all the things that were right in front of you that maybe you wanted to know or knew but didn't want to know.
Right.
Um, so, how do you use this ability to be such a powerful manifester in your life right now? What is your secret thing?
That's such a great question. And it's also why I'm a manifesting coach, right? Because
Yep.
we all have this weird intuition and we're really good at not noticing it sometimes. And some people are heightened aware of it. But um, you know, for instance, the feeling like I wasn't the same as everyone in my family, something was different and off about me,
Yeah.
and I translated that into I was the ugly duckling, or I am not as smart as them, or I am, like we make all these stories about things, and it's recognizing the story when it's happening,
Yes.
for me, is the first step. Now, if
Mhm.
I notice that I'm semi fixated on something, and so and so, has a feeling about me, or they think this thing, and I start to spin, I now can take a step back and notice the feeling between this person, and where is that coming from, and why is that there, and what is a deeper feeling
Mhm.
going on. And when I do that, I call in the truth. It just pops into my head and I have a knowing. And then I call in all the people that I need to heal that thing or be part of that thing. Like with Dr. Carmona, it's like a decision is made. And it's between you and source or God or energy or whatever you believe in or don't believe in. It has nothing to do with how we call things in. It's a belief within yourself. And
Mhm.
I believe that I can have something, I have that thing.
Yeah.
That's how it works for me, and it's fast, um, and I've also called in really bad things for me because I fixated on them,
Yep.
like bad health and stuff like that. I'm unwinding that now. But so it's not always in the positive. We have to be very conscious of the things that we're thinking and feeling, because we are, the universe is like a catalog, and whatever you're thinking about, you're ordering. I
Yes.
am calling that in. I am ordering this thing, page 99. That's what I want. You know, worry about a shark attack. That's, like don't go in the ocean because I'm worried about a shark attack and I'm in the ocean. Like
Yep.
noticing the story going on in the moment will stop whatever's happening.
Yes.
And stop calling it in or continue to call it in stronger. So it's just really noticing and then deciding that you want it, right? Or you don't want it. And that's really how it works for me is breathing into it. I always have to write it down. I'm not a journaler every day, but when I want something and I have a reason why I want it, that means something to me personally, because it's only about us, right?
Right.
In this moment, I need to write about it. I need to write it down, and I just free write about it. And I'm typically sobbing. Doesn't mean you have to, but it just, when it really matters, emotions can come up.
Just
And
comes out. Oh,
I
yeah.
think emotions are beautiful,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what anybody has to say about how you feel about anything, right? It only matters to you. And I think feelings are also vital. And feelings are a good place to begin with what we want and what we don't want. And so I always try to write in the positive. I always try to keep it in the present so that I'm not calling it in 5 years. If I want it, I want to have it now. I want to
Yeah.
enjoy it. Right.
Right.
So, and that's sort of what I decided I was ready to talk about this thing, about DNA.
Yep.
And a lot of my extended family are not happy about that.
Of course.
Things are secret for a reason. I also have a lot of support from some family. So I'm not, just so that's said. But so I decided to talk about it. And as soon as I made that decision, people started to show up.
Mhm.
People just appeared in my life, or I had an idea, oh, I'll reach out to the Surgeon General, and that's sort of out of nowhere for a lot of people, but it made sense to me and it felt like I should do that. So I did it. And he responded, and he's
I,
now my business partner.
yeah, we need to pause for that. That is so big, everybody. You got the idea, you received the download, and you immediately took action. Didn't make sense to you, but you did it anyway.
Right.
And look what happened. And then all those dots connected on how you were trying to merge anyway. It was trying to happen anyway.
Yes.
So powerful. That's the thing that I think a lot of people overlook, and definitely the emotions. And and it is the feeling. It's the heart is really the first mind, and the feelings in the heart are your indicator. It's like your tower, your signal. You're like your radio tower, and so how that feels is a strong indication. And then being able to get out the noise so you can receive those messages,
Mhm.
those hints. You get, like my current place that I'm living in. It happened, I'm telling you, Judy, in a nanosecond. In one day it happened. I instantly heard, I can't tell you where I live, but I heard Google blah, blah, blah. And I Googled it, and wham, this place popped up. I picked up the phone, called. 2 hours later, I was there touring. An hour later, I was signing it and giving notice, and it was like, woo! So
That's
many things
exactly
like that.
how I found my home. I'm on an
Yeah,
island I had never heard of in the Bay Area.
yeah,
Never
yeah,
heard of it. And that's
yeah,
exactly, I decided I wanted a house on the water, and here we are. And it's such a gift.
yeah. Wow, I love it. Well, I could talk to you all day, but
Mm.
we are running out of time. But I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Um, One of the things that we do here is I ask all my guests, how do you live the I have today way? And I would
Mm.
love for you to answer this because we collect them, okay? And then we promote them. If you could answer this with, I have today too, and then fill in the blank. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have today to help another person get through whatever it is they're going through, and that is my happiness.
Mm. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Mhm.
And you do, Judy. You use your life so beautifully, so brilliantly. Is there any final words we want to put up? Let's put up the link for Judy's website and how people can find out more information about you. And certainly there it is. It's www.truthseekerwellness.com. So if you're listening to the podcast, truthseekerwellness.com. And we'll also have information in the show notes. Is there any final words you want to share with the
No, I'm
audience?
just grateful for you and what you're doing in the world. We need so many more of you. And, you know, it, it's been a little dark through, COVID and some of these times we're going through. So to have you as this bright light in the world is such a gift. And it makes me so happy that you're out there and you're doing this. And I can't wait to come talk to you some more and have you on our show and just continue the conversation.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll definitely have you back here for sure. I mean, I haven't even scratched the surface. I mean, we could talk all day, all
There's a lot.
day.
Yeah.
There is a lot. So, well, it's been a privilege having you on. Can't wait to have you back, Judy. And
Thank
we will talk soon. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Take care. Bye bye. She's amazing. You guys, she's amazing. I mean, her background, what she's doing, what she's done, and all the facets of the diamond that she is just so extraordinary. So please go to truthseekerwellness.com, and please encourage anybody who's going through this identity. Oh, wait, what'd she call it? Let me get the words right. Identity level trauma. Identity level trauma. That's what she's helping and support you in. And again, it doesn't have to be just from a DNA surprise. So go be a part of that and get that support from that supportive community. All right. So before we get ready to do our mantra meditation, I just want to take a minute and talk to you all about an opportunity. And one of the things that related to identity, I thought, what could I share with my audience that would help them, especially if they were attracted to the show today, is, identifying what you're supposed to be doing. Judy went through everything that she did that led her to this work right now in her life right now. Taking a culmination of all the things that she's licensed and practiced in, all her years of acting and being in the entertainment industry, her passion for helping people, her passion for being a truth seeker, her passion for manifestation has led to her to where she is now. And you can feel it from her. She's living in her purpose. Me too. I'm living in my purpose. I feel passion every day for what I do, and I want that for you. So one of the things that I did is I created a program called the 10 Days to Your Passion and Purpose program. And it's an amazing 10-day journey where you just do a little bit of focused attention on it every day for 10 days, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, to discover what is really your truth. Talk about truth seekers, like what's the truth for you, and on how you could be living with more passion and purpose in your life. And you're never too young or never too old to do this. So I wanted to extend this information to you so that you can check it out and see if you want me to be your guide on this journey to figure out that information for you. What is it that you really want? What is it that makes you really happy? What is the things that are going to drive you out of bed every day and drive you to go help and serve? Like Judy said, which, just helping somebody every day is how she lives the I Have Today way. What could that potentially be for you? So that is available at 10daypassionandpurpose.com, 10daypassionandpurpose.com. So if you're interested in finding out more information about it, just go there and check it out. And I hope I see you inside the program. Okay. All right. So let's just do a quick wrap up before we get to the mantra meditation. All right. We started out with our intention statement, which was, I have today to embrace my identity no matter what. I have today to embrace my identity no matter what. You do. You have to love who you are, all of you, all the bits, all the pieces, and do that through unconditional love of self. And I'm going to help you do that with this mantra meditation that's coming up. And then we heard from Judy Ben Asher and her amazing story and what she's doing with her truth seekers, right? Let me make sure I have that right. Truth seekers and her podcast. So make sure to check that out. We are definitely going to have her back on the show. And if you have gone through anything where you feeling like there's an identity level trauma going on in your life, follow her. Please follow her. All right. So what I want you to do for the mantra meditation is, if you're driving, obviously you cannot close your eyes. You can just listen to us. What we're going to do is we're going to take in 2 deep breaths, and we're going to breathe in for the count of 4. We're going to hold it for 8. And I want you to visualize that you're sending, bright light and energy to your 8 chakras. That would be your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus in the middle of your belly, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown on the top of your head. And then right above your head is your soul star, about a foot or so above your head. A very important energy center that clears the residue so you can receive the messages, like Judy was talking about, how she received the indication. And she made the phone call. And that's how you're going to start taking action in your life. Okay. So once we do that and count to 8 and light up all those chakras, I want you to breathe it out like you're blowing out birthday candles, like blow out hard, like for 8 seconds, because I want you to take any toxic energy that's trapped in your body, memories, cellular memories, emotions, like the feelings Judy was talking about. I want you to get rid of that toxic energy. All right. I'm going to do that 2 times and then just listen to the words. Okay. So breathe in for the count of 4. Hold it as we light up our chakras for 8. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now blow it out for 8. Do it one more time. Ready? Breathe in for 4. count for 8 as you light up your chakras. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out. You should feel really good. Listen to the words. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles big and small, I notice them all. Yes, 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 thank you. I have today to embrace my identity no matter what. Doesn't really matter where I came from. The fact that I'm here is what matters. The entire universe aligned to bring me to where I am right here and now today, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm a student of life, and I'm a work of art and a work in progress at the same time. I'm a seeker of the truth that is true for me. I surround myself with supportive community, with people who love and embrace my ideas, who want to help me on my journey. And when I'm low and I'm down and I'm feeling small and insignificant, I tap out and reach out to people who can support me. I know I have this day and every day going forward to live in my truth. And that while the past is important, it's not who I truly am. Who I truly am is the ultimate power in this world, the ultimate creator, student of life, lover of life, all love, all power, all knowing, all energy. And I'm going to live this day in my truth. I'm going to discover my passion and purpose and go after it with a vengeance, so that every day I jump out of my bed excited about the day in front of me. And I'm going to use my life in the most extraordinary way and embrace all the beautiful moments, like the one I just had now, witnessing this show and meeting the amazing Judy Ben Asher. I'm going to tune into this every day. I'm going to love myself unconditionally. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. It is my pleasure to be your host here at I Have Today. Make sure you follow us, Diane Forster Official, on all social media, and I Have Today with Diane Forster everywhere. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.